Guten Winter, Abe.
Hello, guten Winter to you. Although in California, I don't think it's a problem.
Right. Hi, George.
Adjusting to being after Yantep.
Right. Okay, we're on 33, Lamed Gimel. Let me some more housekeeping. We finished Sefer Daniel, so we're going to start Sefer Esther, because that's the next Sefer chronologically after
Okay.
Nebuchadnezzar and Koresh and Daniel. So then you have Achashverosh, and what happened with him and his son. Achashverosh, Esther's son, allowed them to rebuild the base of Midrash. Some of that will happen in Ezra and Nehemiah. So the plan is to do Esther. We'll start Sunday night at 8 o'clock. And then after Esther, we'll do Ezra and Nehemiah, God willing. That's the plan.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Tsurba will be Tuesday night, like regular, at 8 o'clock. And the Daf for now will be at 7 p.m.
Okay.
But
Okay, so Lamed Gimel. Mechlal de Tarvayu Svirlu Tuma Tchuya Hibit Sibur. So in 51% of Klal Yisrael on Erev Pesach is Tameh. Let's say the Gadol Hador died and they all went to his funeral. And the majority of Klal Yisrael is Tameh. So the Korban Pesach is brought, since it's a Korban Sibur. So there's a discussion whether Tuma is Hutra B'Tzibur or whether it's Dechuya B'Tzibur. Is a complete heter, or no, we just sort of push it away. Climber Bakashi Nitchas Etzla. Dichu Ba'alma Yedinasius Ovan Shatzitz Barata, Velo Better Gomor. The fact that the Kohen Gadol wears it seats it, it's Maratza it, and it's only for Tumas Mace, but not for other Tumas like Ziva or Nevela or Sheretz. And the debate we had yesterday seems that both of the Mandomrim hold that it's not a full heter, it's just a chuya. And Lema Messiah. Let us say that what we'll see in the next brisa supports this. It says, Kol asmicha shahayu sham, koira alein ani, tekef l'smicha shchita. So some of the korbanos, like a shlum, you needed to do smicha. You have to take your hands and lean on the animal, the bailing. And any time that you had to do smicha, right after smicha, you had to do shchita. Now, chutz mizu. Now, the Metzora, he was still, remember, the Metzora was tummy for 7 days. Went to the mikvah on the 7th day, had hair of Shemesh on the 7th day. Then on the 8th day, he has to come to the Korbanos, to the base of Mikdash, and they have to put oil on his big thumb and on his big toe, on the right hand and right foot. That's part of the purification. He had to shech the korban as well. He had to do smich on the korban. However, he's in a state of tumah. So they allowed him to go as close as what's called Shar Nicanor, the gate that was sort of the opening to the Ezras Yisrael. He couldn't go into Ezras Yisrael, but he had to shech there. Excuse me, they did the smicha there. And they actually, l'chora shechted the ashram there, She'ein mitzvah yochel likanos l'sham ad shemaisen alav. Midam chatos midam hashamo. They had to shecht him, and there had to be some sprinkling of the blood of the chatas and the ashram on him. So that can't happen until shchita. Now, iamrit bia b'miktas lo shmebia. We said if you just put your hands in to do smicha on an animal, that's a partial coming in. And if we say that that's not considered coming in, so why did we have to do the shchita by the Shar Nikanor? Leo Yadev Elismach, let him put his hands into the Azor itself and do smicha, and then shecht it there. So Omer Rav Yosef, there's no proof from there. Because Kiamani Rav Yosef Rav Yehudi, that price is Rav Yosef. Sha'omar Merchak Tzofoy, that when they shechted Kodshe Kodshim, and a Chatas and a Noshim are considered Kodshe Kodshim, it's not anywhere in the north. It's north of the Mizbeach itself, which is 22 amas from the opening of the Azara. Well, you can't lean so far in. If you could bring the animal right next to the line there, you could do it. But you couldn't do it. So therefore, according to Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehudi, you had to do it this other way. Ask the Gemara, V'levit pishpish, why don't you make a little opening in the wall, like a little door, on the northern side, next to the Mizbeach, so they could put their hands in and do smicha there. So Abai Rav Darman, no, that's a good idea, but Hakol b'chsav miyad Hashem alai yiskil as kol melachos hatavnis. In Divrei Yomim, there's a pasuk that says everything was laid out how the binyan has to look, and this door was not there, so you can't just add it whenever you want. Okay. Iked Diyami, there's Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef is another reason why the Metzora couldn't put his hands in. Kol hasoymech roish v'ruba machnis. It's not enough your hands. You have to put your head and the majority of your body. Now, the head of your majority is certainly like your whole body. You can't bring, if you're tummy, you can't go into the Azor on pain of Kores. Now, why do you have to put your head and body in? Because my time is called Kocha B'inin. Because you need to sort of lean on it with all your strength. So he couldn't do it there, because even if you didn't hold like Rabbi Yosef Bar Yehuda that it had to be in the north, so far away, you couldn't put your whole body in, because it wouldn't just be b'miktzas. So that's why they had to do it at the gate of Nikanor. The question is, Mike Sover. If doing smicha and ashram is from the Torah, and tekaf l'smicha shchita, and right after smicha you had to do shchita, is also deraisa. Well, these are mitzvahs sasays midaraisa. Let the two mitzvahs sasays of smicha and shchita override the lav of going into the base of Mikdash. Leil v'lismach ba'dei. Drachmana Omar. Because the Torah says that you have a mitzvah to do it. Amar Vada Bar Masna, you should know. These are not midoraisa. It's gzeira. Really, minat Torah, they should have done it. The Chachamim restricted them from doing it. Gzeira shemayarbe b'psiyos. We're concerned, yes. If you give a guy a heter to do just that, the problem is they might take extra steps, and then he'll be chayiv koretz for that. That part, doing the smicha, is minat Torah. But this rule of tekef l'smicha shchita is lav d'oraisa. That's not midoraisa. And therefore, he could do the smicha outside. Meisvei. It says v'samach v'shochat. Number one, mas smicha b'toirin. Just like smicha can only be done by a Jew's tor, not b'tomei, av shchita b'toirin. Now, v'yamet lav d'oraisa. But if you tell me that this rule of right after smicha you have to do shchita is not in the Torah, so you could do smicha b'tmei nami mishkachas law. The tmeim could do it outside of the Azor, and there's no problem. You have to completely the opposite. That the smichas asher mitzvah is lav d'oraisa. The smicha is not d'oraisa, and therefore you can do it by outside. But by other korbanos, or the korbanos that need smicha min Torah, which Asham Mitzvah is not one of those, there you need the rule, Tekaf L'Smicha, Shchit B'Doros. Ravina gives another teretz, or we go back to this question of Reish Lakish, that a Tomei who goes in, puts his hands into the Azor, he gets Malchus, because even a Bia B'Miktas is called Bia. Ravina Omar, it's not Kor, it's Lin Malchus Itmar. When Reish Lakish said, he's moide that if you walk completely in, you get chorus, but not with your hands. Kiyasa Ravin, Amravavo, Leinian Tomei Shanaga B'Kodesh Itmar. He wasn't even talking about smicha. He was talking about touching a Tomei person touching Hegdish. That lav. We're not talking about coming into the base of Mikdash. Where do we see this Itmar? There's a machlokes Tomei Shanaga B'Kodesh. Tomei that touched Hegdish meat. Reish Lakish Amar Loike. Rav Yechid Amar Eina Loike. Now, what's their reasoning? Reish Lakish Amar Loike B'Chol Kodesh Loisiga. It says don't touch Kodesh. Rav Yechid Amar Eina Loike because Hahu B'Truma Ksiv. Rav Yechid and Darshan is that pasuk not on Kodesh but on Truma. V'Reish Lakish Haikra Lachid also. How can Reish Lakish use the pasuk B'Chol Kodesh Loisiga to tell me get Malchus for touching? He uses it hamaboyle leazhara the oichel b'sar kodesh. You need a warning, a pasuk to warn you, and a pasuk to give you punishment. Somebody who's tamei who eats holy meat. Where do we see this? Didma azara leoichel b'sar kodesh minayin. Where is the lav stated that you eat hegdish meat b'sar kodesh in a state of tumah? Reish Lakish Amar Bechol Kodesh Losiga. We're going to see it. Even though Losiga is a word to touch, later on we're going to do a drasha that it really means to eat. Rav Yochanan Amar Tani Bardula Asya. There's a Gzeir Shava Tumaso Mebias Kodesh. By eating Kodesh Betuma, it says Tumaso Alav, and it says by Bias Migdash V'Tumaso. So Malahalam by Bias Migdash, not just Kores and Izir, and there's a warning, there's a Losase, Afkan. Eating a Kodesh Betuma is Onach V'Hizir. So how can Reish Lakish say that pasuk of the Kodesh L'Siga comes to tell me that there's a lav for touching holy food? He uses that pasuk to tell me that you can't eat holy food. Now you're going to ask me, well, if you can eat holy food, don't you have to touch it? No, somebody could put it in your mouth. Mario usually comes up with those good questions. I was waiting for Mario to ask me that. Right, Mario? You always,
Yeah.
right? You're going to say, well, how can you eat it without touching it? Well, somebody could put it in your mouth, and you're not touching it, at least with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
But there would still be a law for eating it. So where does Reish Lakish learn? Or does he learn both of the things from the same prosek? So he says, Tomei Shanaga B'Kodesh, the fact that a Tomei person cannot is mida afke rachmana b'loshen negia. Since the Torah used achila, it meant achila, but it used the word negia, and that's azar la'oichal. So that's the law for eating it. And the iskis kodesh lemigdish, and achilas kodesh. There's a hekish of eating that, of eating holy food coming into the base of English. It says b'chol kodesh losiga, v'lamigdash lo savo. So there he learns both dinim. And the Gemara is going to say Tani kavosid reish lakish. It says b'chol kodesh losiga azhara la'oichal. That's a warning for somebody who eats hegdish food betuma. Ata oimer azhar la'oichal o enel nogeya. Maybe it has nothing to do with eating. It has to do with touching. Talmud lomer b'chol kodesh losiga v'lamigdash lo savo. Meiki kodesh lemigdash. We have a hekesh eating kodesh to migdash. Ma lemigdash davar sheyesh bo netilas neshama. It's walking in the base of migdash. You have kores of kodesh davar sheyesh bo netilas neshama. So by kodesh, it's also something that we don't get kores by touching something. It's only a lav. You get kores by eating something, which the Gemara is going to tell us. So that's the hekesh to walking into the base of Mikdash. Okay. So tomorrow, 4:00, our regular
Okay.
Friday
All
time.
right. Shkoyach.
Okay. Then Mario and Johnny, I reminded everybody, we're starting Sefer Esther
Yes.
Sunday night, 8:00, and then we'll do Tzur, but Tuesday night, as well as the Daf Yomis will be probably at 7. Sunday night 7, and the other nights at 7 too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeshikaya.